Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode on More Motivation YouTube channel. I am so excited that you chose to join me on a brand new episode. So, we gonna get into it. I won't be before you long, but before we get into it, make sure that you subscribe. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? I don't understand. Or a topic or soul chat is just unlearning the toxic traits that we have adapted up until this time. It's time to unlearn those things and really step into true mental freedom from the things that have plagued you throughout the years and have caused you to push a lot of people away and cause you to allow the wrong people in. So let's talk about it for a little bit. To unlearn something takes time. It takes work, because the fact that you have adapted this sort of mindset, this sort of mentality that society has put on you, that your family has put on you, that, just your environment has put on you, a lot of it feels like it's not really your fault that you've adapted this form of thinking. And some of it just kind of happened naturally that way. And then God takes you through this period where you're finding yourself, you're discovering yourself. And in discovering yourself, you realize, wait, a lot of the stuff that I've been carrying all these years, that ain't good for me. That ain't gonna, be good in a marriage. That's not gonna be good in a friendship. How in the world am I gonna break generational curses holding these toxic traits into every season of my life? And to really sit down and say, I need to unlearn these things is work. It takes a lot of work. It's gonna take therapy. It's gonna take meditation. It's gonna take you really just praying before God and saying, here are the things that I'm not proud of. How do I refocus my mind to now realize that a new form of thinking, a new mentality is possible? How do I do that? So the biggest thing is you gotta face what your toxic traits are. You gotta admit to it. You gotta be okay with admitting to it. You can't be ashamed of it. And you have to face the fact that how those toxic traits have affected what has occurred in your life up until this point. Whether that means you lost some people that you would love to have in your life right now, whether that means you hurt some people, whether that be through your sharp tongue, whether that be through just the way your energy is, whatever these toxic traits are, you have to face what has been the consequences of these toxic traits that I'm carrying into every relationship, into every season of my life. What is the consequences of that? And then once you face the consequences and how it's affected you, now you have to make a soul decision that I want different. I want different for myself. I want different for my children, because now I have the possibility to pass that on to them. And I want different for this new version of myself that I finally discovered exist, because now I'm growing. I have more wisdom now. I'm mature. I'm thinking better, but I still have these toxic traits somewhere stuck inside of me that now I want to detox out. So for me personally, some of the biggest toxic traits that I've had to deal with, is dealing with my mouth, and how, I can be sharp with my tongue, how I can be negative, as well as just the fact that I've overtalked people, the fact that I've, given the wrong mood swing, how I haven't been inviting it friendly, how I've driven people away just from not communicating properly, how I've been in, my own bubble, instead of just expressing myself. So I've had to deal with how my own toxic traits have directly affected me. And when I really started to like really analyze it, it was like mind blowing how much these toxic traits have negatively impacted me. And then I started to realize where they were coming from. The fact that it was showing up in different parts of my family, these traits that I have, these toxic traits. And then I'm seeing, okay, here's the people in my life that want to love me through these issues that I'm dealing with. They want to love me through it. They don't want to cancel me for it. They want to be there for me during it. And then I'm like, okay, I need to be appreciative of this village that I have in my life that has loved me through all of my toxic traits. And in the process of doing that, I've had to take day by day, month by month, year by year to really just be at the feet of Jesus and say, I need to consistently detox what it is that's not only separating me from God, but separating me from being the best version of myself, from really growing into what it is that I was put on this earth to do. Because if I hold on to these toxic traits because it's all I've seen, all I know, all that I've seen play out in front of me, I'm doing a disjustice to my future, or injustice to my future, I should say. So once we've unraveled all those three things, now here comes the work. Here comes you taking day by day to analyze where you're at, how you're growing. And the biggest thing I'm going to tell you that's really going to impact you unlearning what has plagued you and what has negatively impacted you is spending time with yourself. The more you value spending time with others more than yourself, and you don't prioritize self-care, you don't prioritize spending time with yourself and being okay with being alone, like there has to be a period in your life where you're totally fine with your phone being dry, nobody calling you, like especially when you're dealing with the toxic traits that you've held in every relationship. So you have to be totally fine with the fact that I gotta be alone in order to detox, in order to really face what I contributed to all of these failed relationships. Now, mind you, that other person could really have done something wrong to end it, and it may have not been completely your fault, but you also have to face the fact that you have completely been a direct, common denominator in a lot of why relationships just haven't worked out properly for you, because you don't want to just spend time alone with yourself. So before 2021 ends, I hope that you can just unlearn the trauma that you've seen your mother, your father go through. Unlearn the fact that you can be gentle with your tongue and you don't have to hurt people while you're hurt. Unlearn, that holding that whole thing of holding things in and not talking it out because you want to protect your pride when really it just makes things worse. Unlearn the things that have just carried out in your life and it's not made anything better. So it's going to take a lot of prayer. It's going to take you really spending time with God, figuring out your identity in Christ, because He is the only one that can really unravel and show you who you are. You just got to give Him an opportunity to. You can't think that you're going to find out exactly who you are without God. Like, that's just on period. Like, He is the only missing link to why you don't really know who you are. to why you don't understand a lot of things about yourself and why you're going through what you're going through. Without getting to know him, you'll think you have it all together because you're smart, because great things have happened to you from you being smart, but then he'll also allow it all to unravel and it just to be you and him. And so never get on your high horse to think that you don't need God, because he will show himself to be effective each and every time. So my prayer for you is that you really face what has been a consistent dark pattern in your life, in your family, in your relationships. Face it. Don't run from it. And once you face it and don't run from it, speak out what you want to change. Speak against, the negativity. Speak against the hard, just the mental health trauma that you've had to deal with. Speak against the depression, speak against the anxiety, speak against all these things that have been, a consequence of these toxic traits. And just know that it's not impossible to unlearn anything. It's not impossible. I don't care how long it's been practiced throughout your life. It's not impossible. Know that when you walk in a room, people already know what kind of energy they're going to get from you. You already know. You know what it is. You know exactly what you know better than the ones who have criticized you. So now it's time to face those things and to say no more. I want to be better. I want to be better for the generation that's coming behind me. I want to be better for the direct audience that is watching me. I want to be better for the kingdom. You're a child of God. So you have reasons to want to be better, whether that be your kids, whether that be your marriage, whether that be your relationship with your friends, whether that be your relationship with your family. You have so many reasons to unlearn the toxic energy that has followed you. So I hope that, you walked away from something from this video, and make sure you subscribe. I love you. Follow me on Instagram at More Motivation, MOORER Motivation. And yeah, see you next time. Come ready to get a full cup. Love you.